Welcome back, everyone. Bienvenidos a todos. Hoy es el día 9. Is day 9 with Duolingo Spanish. So we're still filling out the stuff. We're doing 1 unit a day until maybe we hit the end of section 2. And tentatively, I think we're going to keep the review slated for the end of section 2, possibly. Let's go over our recall from our previous unit. So our previous unit was actually shortened, right? It was one of the first off units, as in much shorter. It was talking about where people are from, so we used de, and actually de and donde and ser. Those are our key formulations of where are people from. Like so, like soy de Estados Unidos, right? So we had locations. Los Estados Unidos. And La Cuba. Actually, I haven't considered the country's genders. El Mexico. These will be a guess until later. We had what others? Latina. Actually, it's not often I even see an article next to them. So we're just gonna do it for practice. Let's guess. I don't know in what time we would use these. La España. Did we cover the major ones that they shared? So far, yep, that's fine. And then all the people, right? So we're gonna put them in their masculine forms. Americano, right? Cubano. Mexicano. Huh. I don't. We'll leave it at that. Those are the ones that we got. So we're gonna stick to that for now. There are definitely gaps. It was very small. That was it. I think that's the whole chapter. Everything else is recycled. So estudiante, like going, studying, stuff like that. Even the adjectives. Were there any adjectives that we have? No, yeah, it was a very short unit. They added a bunch of cities, but we'll take the cities as face value. Like Boston, right? Or like a state like California. Any objects, people? No, that's it. Okay, so now we go over the evening thing. Let me see if I remember. There are 2 stories. There were 2 additional stories. One was vegetarian. vegetarian. It was Vikram. 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 So Rikam went to a restaurante, right? Un restaurante, and the waiter kept he told the waiter he's a vegetarian and do you have anything, and the waiter basically kept suggesting carne, and then at some point he ended up ordering french fries and papas fritas and ensalada, right? So french fries and a salad. Poor Vikram. The second story was pretty funny, actually. The second story was about space. More space. I think the kid's name was... I forgot what the kid's name was. But we had a precocious kid. We'll call him Pablo. Pablo told his dad, like, I need to get a job. So the kid wanted to get a job. And the father said, you're 8 years old. Why would you need a job? And he said, we need to buy a new house because our house is small. And the father's like, our house is fine. And then what else? And we need to buy a new car, right? Because our car is small, etc., etc. Until the twist. The twist was the kid told his father that mother is having a baby. Right. So, and then that was the end of that story. Right. That story was out of place. It didn't actually use any of the vocabulary. Neither of these stories actually used too much of the vocabulary of the current one. So that's kind of weird. And then we had 3 podcasts. The first one was Strangers with Lily, right? Talking to strangers with Lily. And it was called An Awkward Introduction. So basically, Lily is apathetic most of the time. So I forgot the guy's name, but we'll call him Juan, right? Juan introduced himself, talked about where he's from, right? Where he's from, that's origin, right? And Lily was like, I don't remember anything. Like, great, I know your name. Bye. That's Lily for you, right? And then the second one is Falstaff's Guide to Humans, right? Falstaff. And it's overhearing strangers, right? So 2 strangers talking about where they're from and where they live, right? So using this country. So where they're from, live, and origin. And Falstaff ends with his bit, and he's like, well, you know, humans really are over concerned about their origins and where they live. As a bear, your home is wherever you go. So it's easy, right? It's basically where he always is. The home is the bear, right? That's the tagline. And then the last one is Lynn. Late Nights with Lynn. Lynn is basically the lazy person, right? And the guests described their hardworking sister, hermana. And they're both students and they're hitting the books. And Lynn made a comment like, the only thing I'm good at is hitting the snooze button. And therefore she signs off and goes to bed. Right? That's Lynn's thing. And then we have one adventure, as per usual. And the adventure is your Eddie, this guy, You're Eddie, and he found a passport. Pasaporte, right? Pasaporte. So he noticed that it's Pasaporte de España. So he noticed that it's a Spanish passport. So he goes around and asks Oscar. Oscar. And apparently Oscar is from Canada. And then he asked Lynn. And Lynn's from Mexico. And then you had to slyly find out that Lucy is hiding behind something. And she's the one that's from España. And that's it. And that's our evening stuff, right? And let's head into our new lesson. So, Section 2, Unit 1. Ask how people are. So, ¿cómo estás? Right? Hola, ¿cómo estás? Bien, gracias. Right? Buenas tardes. Buenas tardes. Tardes. Señora. Okay, so now we're addressing peeps. Like, señor and señora, right? Señora, señorita. Let's see. Buenas tardes. Buenas tardes. ¿Cómo está usted? Okay, so the formal as well, like being formal to someone. Hasta mañana. Hasta mañana. Señor Pérez.
Hasta mañana, señor Pérez.
Adiós. Hasta mañana, right? Tú versus usted. Yeah, there it is. Both mean, so what's the difference? Tú is for friendly conversation. So, Juan, ¿cómo estás tú? Right? And then meanwhile, usted is for more formal interactions. Hola, señor. ¿Cómo está usted? Right? And then ser versus estar, which we kind of already went over by implicit, but they cover things like in different orders. Remember to use estar to describe things that are only temporarily true, like the location of people and things, right? So where you're from is not temporary. So you use ser, like from our last unit. And then estar, like for, like, say something is closed, right? Like a restaurant, or someone is here, right? In a position. So Manuel está aquí, right? You can also use estoy, estás, or está to talk about how people are feeling or doing, because feelings and doing is also temporary, right? Yo estoy cansada, right? Why are you so happy while saying I'm... Oh, you're frustrated. Yo estoy cansada. Okay, use ser to be more permanent descriptions, like explaining what someone is like. Mi hermano es inteligente, right? Inteligente. Inteligente. Yo soy de los Estados Unidos. Yeah, like from where you're from. Right? Okay. Alright, so let's get into it. This looks like a shortened unit as well. Okay. Alright.
Muy bien.
Muy bien. It means a lot more than very good, but muy bien works.
Sí, estoy bien.
Sí, estoy bien. Okay. Yes, I'm good. Or I'm happy. Yeah, this is where it starts getting a little interpretive. Oh, or I'm okay. Oh. I'm not going to talk about it.
No estoy bien.
That should also be acceptable.
No estoy bien.
No estoy. Wait.
No, no estoy bien. No,
Okay. No, no estoy
Bien.
bien. No, I'm not okay.
¿Cómo estás?
¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás? How are you? Hola, José. Hola, José. Sí, estoy bien, gracias. ¿Y tú?
tú.
¿Cómo estás? Interesting. There's a lot of redundancy here.
Hola, José. ¿Cómo estás?
Bien, ¿y tú? Yeah. The ¿cómo estás after the ¿y tú was a little bit.
Él está cansado.
Él está cansado. Yeah, he's tired. Okay. So now we're talking about sort of about feelings. So that's kind of useful.
Cansado.
Cansado.
¿Cómo está Julia? ¿Cómo
¿Cómo
estás,
estás,
Julia?
Julia? Oh, está. Whoops. Wrong.
Marco está cansado.
Marco está cansado.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Estoy cansado. ¿Y tú? I'm tired. And you?
Ella está cansada.
Ella está cansada. Okay. Cansada.
Patricia no está cansada.
Patricia. Uf. Patricia no está cansada. Hola, Isabel. No, no estoy cansada. ¿Y tú? ¿Cómo estás? Oh, jeez.
Estoy.
It could have been different.
Carmen, ¿estás cansada?
Carmen, ¿estás cansada? Nombre. Cansado. Maestro. ¿Dónde? Medicina. Okay.
Sí, estoy bien.
Oops. Got the.
¿Cómo está Julia? ¿Cómo está Julia?
I'm starting to think of it like a Japanese thing, like constantly asking about how other people are feeling. I'm like, you don't usually do that as a pleasantry.
Disculpe, señora.
Disculpe, señora. Right. They're going for ma'am.
Sí, hasta mañana.
Sí. Hasta mañana. I say hasta mañana with a little bit more of a, I guess it's a little wavier when I'm saying it. I'm not that excitable. Hasta mañana, Gabriela. Tengo un examen y necesito estudiar. Adiós.
Adiós.
Hola, buenas tardes.
Hola, buenas tardes. Tardes. Eh,
Buenas tardes, señora.
Buenas tardes, señora.
Adiós. Hasta luego.
Hasta luego. Right. Wait, what was this unit about? There's a lot of greetings.
Gracias, hasta luego.
Gracias. Hasta luego.
Hola, señorita Pérez.
Hola, señorita Pérez.
Buenas noches, señorita Sánchez.
Sánchez. Buenas noches, señorita Sánchez.
Hasta mañana, señora Sánchez.
Hasta luego, señora Pérez. Pérez. I'm putting the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable there. Pérez, not Pérez. Pérez.
¿Cómo está usted, señor?
I said Pérez because I'm thinking of Japanese. Okay. Emphasis. ¿Cómo está usted, señor?
Señora Sánchez, ¿cómo está usted?
Señora Sánchez, ¿cómo está usted?
Adiós, señor Pérez.
Hasta luego, señorita Sánchez.
Hasta mañana, señor Pérez.
Hasta mañana, señor Pérez.
Señor
Señor Albert.
Albert.
Albert, ¿cómo
¿Cómo?
está usted?
Usted.
Hola. Buenas tardes.
Señora Sánchez,
Sánchez.
¿cómo estás? ¿Cómo está usted? ¿Cómo está usted? Okay. As how people are. Oh, okay. And then we just threw in some greetings, some hellos and goodbyes.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas? What the? Okay. I guess this is a decent place.
Buenos días. ¿Cómo te llamas?
Buenos días. ¿Cómo te llamas?
Hola. Buenos días.
Hola, buenos días. Buenos días. ¿Cómo te llamas?
La niña está mal.
Mal. La niña está mal. Or bad.
Mal.
Yeah. Unwell is pretty good though. I like unwell.
Mal.
Mal.
José está ocupado.
José está ocupado. Busy.
Ocupado.
¿Cómo
Ocupado.
se llama usted?
¿Cómo se llama usted? We have to say. Se llama.
Señor, ¿cómo se llama usted? Señor,
¿Cómo se llama usted?
Señorita, ¿cómo se llama usted?
Yep. Formal. Señorita, ¿cómo se llama usted?
Julia, ¿estás ocupada?
Julia, ¿estás ocupada?
la señora está ocupada.
La señora está ocupada. Oh, la señora está ocupada.
Estoy muy feliz.
Feliz. Oh, okay. That's what they're getting for happy. Muy feliz. ¿Dónde? Feliz. Cubano. Examen. Fácil. ¿Ne? Oh.
Estás
¿Estás feliz?
feliz.
You could kind of say ¿estás bien? As well.
Carmen.
Carmen.
Estás
muy
ocupada.
ocupada. Right. Gender agreement. Oh. Whoops. I forgot the... I forgot to conjugate the right. Está. Okay.
Lo
Lo siento.
siento.
Estoy muy... What examples do we have?
Ocupada.
Gender, it's... You can't tell. Right? It's just us.
Carmen. Está
muy...
ocupado.
Oops.
Ocupada.
Ocupada. We're assuming here, of course. And then that's it. That's a short unit.
Sí, estoy bien.
Oops.
¿Cómo está Julia? ¿Cómo
Well,
está Julia?
Carmen
está
muy
ocupada.
ocupada.
¿No estás bien?
¿No estás bien? Y... Buenas tardes, señor. Quiero pagar. Pagar, por favor.
Pagar.
Disculpe, señora.
Disculpe, señora. Why do you have these as two separate things? El señor Hernández. Hernández. Hernández está. Hernández está cansado. Él no está bien.
Cansado. Hernández.
Yeah. Hernández. Boy, he looks very tired.
No estoy muy feliz.
No estoy muy feliz.
Juan no está cansado.
Juan no
No
está cansado.
Cansado.
Oh yeah, we also had negation somewhere thrown in the last 2 units.
Adiós, señor Pérez.
Hasta luego, señorita Sánchez.
No, él no está ocupado. No,
No.
Está. no,
No.
ocupado.
¿Ocupado?
No, él no está ocupado.
Oh, él no
no.
está ocupado. Oh, whoops, I put it in the wrong place. My bad.
No, la señorita no está ocupada. No. La
Señorita no está
ocupada.
ocupada.
No, la señorita no está ocupada.
All right. Let's hit that legend button. We're going to keep this pace. It's about an hour and a half to 2 hours per unit. On this one, it's going to be on the
Hasta
shorter side.
luego, señor Pérez.
Luego.
Leo. Luego.
Luego.
José no está bien.
José no está bien. Antonio.
Antonio.
Hasta mañana.
Hasta mañana.
Sí, hasta mañana.
Sí, hasta mañana. Hola, José.
José,
¿Cómo estás?
¿cómo estás?
That works.
¿Estás feliz?
¿Estás feliz? Oh no.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Estoy cansado. ¿Y tú?
Buenas tardes, señorita.
Okay.
Hola, ¿cómo te llamas?
Me llamo Sara. ¿Y tú? Duo. Oh, interesting. Duo está muy mal. Él no.
No.
Él no está feliz. Oh.
Buenas tardes, ¿cómo está usted?
Buenas tardes.
¿Cómo está
usted?
usted?
Hola, Isabel. No estoy.
Mi gato se llama señor Pérez. Él está muy feliz y ocupado.
My cat's name is Señor Perez. Okay. It's a cat.
Señora, ¿cómo se llama usted?
Señora,
¿cómo?
¿Cómo se llama usted?
Usted.
Usted. Yo estudio aquí en México. Mi hamburguesa. Mi nombre es Francisco. Francisco. Oh man, I was doing Italian. Francisco. ¿Y tú? Okay. Yo estoy bien, gracias. ¿Y tu esposa? ¿Cómo está?
Está.
Sí, Gloria. Gloria. Oh, estoy feliz y ocupada. No. Yes. The heck? Oh, you're just okay. Yes, Gloria, I'm happy and busy at the same time. Okay. Yo escribo un libro importante de medicina. Okay. Fair enough. Alright. I need a new video game. Let's go.
Necesito un videojuego nuevo.
Eddie and Junia.
Junior y Eddie están en una tienda.
Okay.
¡Papá! ¡Necesito un videojuego nuevo!
No, Junior. No necesitas un videojuego nuevo.
He does not need a new video game. That's not what Eddie thinks anyway.
Por favor, este videojuego de robots es muy divertido.
Did he just say robots? Por favor, este videojuego de robots es muy divertido. I'm not sure robots. That's kind of funny. I don't think I've ever heard robots.
Junior, tú quieres este videojuego, pero no necesitas este videojuego.
Nice. I like it. I like it. Tú quieres este videojuego, pero no necesitas este videojuego. Right? I said video. Videojuego. Right? You want this game. You don't need this game.
Está bien, yo lo quiero. ¿Lo compramos?
No, tienes muchos videojuegos en casa.
Womp womp womp. No, tienes muchos videojuegos in casa. You have a lot of games at home.
Sí, está bien. ¿Vamos a casa?
No, vamos a casa de Vikram.
Vikram.
¿Por qué? Su casa...
You're surprised by how much Spanish you remember? Oh, that's good. Yeah, I think Spanish is I don't know. I think people are surprisingly intuitive about Spanish. Being like, if you have some exposure with language. Su casa es una tienda porque es muy aburrida. Oh, boring. Aburrida.
Pero su televisión es grande y yo necesito ver el partido de fútbol.
Of course. Eddie wants to go to Vikram's house because he wants to see the football game. Pero su televisión es grande y yo necesito ver el partido de fútbol. Fútbol. Right.
Papá, tú quieres ver el partido, pero no necesitas ver el partido.
That's what happens when you start being cheeky with your kids. Papá, tú quieres ver el partido, pero no necesitas ver el partido. Right? You want to see the game, but you don't need to see the game. After studying Japanese for now, Spanish looks like a cakewalk. Yeah, unless you get like nitpicky, until you get like nitpicked to death for gender agreements and then conjugations, which is what Spanish is known for, right? So the whole like, if you're going to use SRS or like an app, the things that you're going to consistently get wrong over and over again is probably like gender, article, conjugation agreements, as opposed to like dealing with, does this word kind of mean this or kind of mean that? It's kind of very, very nice because you have some legacy with other Western languages and of course Roman characters. Until you keep getting tit for tat over and over again. It's like, it's close enough. It's like, you know, una, it's the same thing, but it really is quite important. One day you might accidentally infer someone's gender inaccurately. They both said they need something when they only want it. Yep. Lesson learned. Partido de fútbol. Fútbol. Grande. Casa. Divertido. Divertido. Oh, and speaking something else too, honestly. I actually think speaking is not a cakewalk. And listening is not a cakewalk. I actually think this is my own personal anecdote. It's easier for me to listen to Japanese than to Spanish. Largely it's because it's like listening to English. If you're learning English and you find some random people online, all of them are gonna throw you off. And then in Spanish, depending on what type of Spanish speaker you're talking, like you're hearing, and there are a lot of them on the internet, it's gonna throw you off. As opposed to Japanese is more disciplined, more rigid, restricted things. So it goes really, really quickly. At least for me, personally. Divertido and ver. Like carro, right? Carro, perro, ver, right? And sometimes the speaking is like it's close, but not quite it. As opposed to, oh, that's just not right, and that's just wrong. And then you have like your pitch accent. That's the subtlety part. But I think Spanish, instead of being subtle, it's very obvious. So when you're doing it, if you're not very obvious about it, then you're obviously very weird sounding. Meanwhile, the Japanese side of things, like, I know you're a foreigner, but I also understand you. At least that's my impression.
Un videojuego nuevo.
Largely because Spanish is a larger macro language. You've never had too much of an issue listening to Spanish, TBH? You probably listen to a very specific type of Spanish consistently. I don't think you're listening to different types of Spanish. I can almost guarantee you that the first common thing that native Spanish speakers will tell you, and I agree with this, is that if you really end up, yeah, you mostly hear Mexican Spanish, yeah. So, but yeah, and it's mostly Mexicano, but Cuban and Puerto Rico is it throws you off just enough to make you not get the point sometimes. Just neighboring, but you have like, you know, all of Central America, and then the West Coast, and then all the diaspora and colonial Spanish. Largely because maybe you just get samples from there. It's kind of like Chinese as well. The moment I listened, most of my programming and my ear trainings from Southern Mandarin. So occasionally when I get to Northern Northern Chinese, I kind of lose some of that stuff because of the R. And there's just one noise. You've heard Argentina Spanish a few times, and the difference, it was weird to hear. It sounded like a like a yeah. But I don't think it's, hear me out though. I still agree with you that in the long run, if you compare like a macro language to another macro language, it's still a lot more flexible, because in my opinion, that's what makes Spanish more useful. You know what I mean? Like, what I mean is in English, it wouldn't put you off as someone who's listening to English. It wouldn't put you off because you kind of just expect there's some flexibility in the language. And then Spanish is very similar, in my opinion, because it's the second largest universal macro language. So Japanese has the elegance of being confined, and that's useful for learning purposes. And then feeling like you don't have a problem with the different sounds in English and in Spanish plays to the idea that English and Spanish is a lot looser, which may or may not help someone. It's really up to you. But for me, Spanish, the moment you play something from like Catalan region, right, in Spain, and you hear the person speak, I'm like, I think you said yes. Something is something, like it goes out. But most of the time though, Duolingo is also their synthetic voices modeled after Central America. Actually, I'm not even sure if the founder wanted it to be modeled after Guatemalan, whatever is in Guatemalan. The founder is Guatemalan, but I'm guessing it's supposed to be Hispanic. So for me, in the United States, I'm most used to Hispanic Spanish. So primarily though, Mexico. I think I've heard Chilean. Oh, actually, someone shared with me Chilean 3 days ago, and it was a clip, and the person was basically just asking, do you want an interview? And I'm like, I cannot hear, do you want an interview? Like I listened to it like 4 or 5 times and I still can't hear what he's saying. It almost feels like he was saying an entirely different thing. But once someone told you what it said, like when you're reading it, like I read the comments, it's like, oh, this is what the person's saying. It's like, oh, I can hear it now. After the fact, after I knew what he's saying, then I was listening for it. So I don't really know. It'd be interesting. I'm absolutely confident I cannot hear someone from the Catalan region. Like, I guess that's might be like a bit more East Spain when they're speaking Spanish, not Catalan, or Spain, Catalan kind of deal. It's interesting. I think Spanish feels really comfortable. Like, I totally agree with you. The feeling is incredibly comfortable. I like it a lot. It's like riding a bike. It's really like riding a bike.
Junior y Eddie están en una tienda.
And then we're going to legend this.
¡Necesito un videojuego nuevo!
You do have a hard time speaking Spanish? I do too. I think my 2 or 3 years, I tried to speak a lot, and man, that stuff gets rusty fast. And yeah, the R's. Yeah, I'm sitting here at night, like the last week, I've been trying to loosen up. Slowing it down and being able to get it is kind of fun. Like ver, right? Ver, or por, right? Por, favor, right? The end R. So favor, the end R is fine, but then you have the beginning R is fine. The middle R's are not fine. So like perro, it's like weaker. Perro, carro. Yeah, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But like ra, initiating is fine and ending is fine, but the shape in the middle is like kind of gone right now. Uniar. That's only a single tap. I can't get from the ni to the, so some occasionally here and there. The common words are a lot easier. Like por favor. What's one? Well, I'll have to think about, like marron. Marron is okay because the accent is on the ron.
No, Junior. No necesitas un videojuego nuevo.
Por favor, este videojuego de robots es muy divertido.
Oh, and there is something a little bit weird about Duolingo. I'm not sure if it's just me because I am still reviewing my Spanish, but whenever there's like a super cognate, like a identical cognate, so like junior, they do say junior every once in a while. Some people say unior, but some of them say junior because I guess it's fine, right? Like Eddie translates fine, but then there's robots. It sounded more like
Por favor, este videojuego de robots es muy divertido.
so robots. That's fine, but occasionally you can probably hear like robots. They would just straight up say the English or closer to the English. So I don't know how they're deciding that. Like Mari, I would say Mari, but they said Mary for like names and stuff. So I don't know how they're going about that. It's on and off. So I'm gonna be matching not so much. And also their intonation is on and off. There's a reason why their endings and the way they're exclamatory and stuff is different from the way I'm saying it, because I'm more commonly how I exclaim is a little different, and how I ask questions is a little different than whatever they trained themselves on. So it's an interesting thing I can talk about that I had no background. Like I can't comment on this back when I was learning Japanese, and I couldn't really comment that much on the Chinese side of things. But in Spanish, I can, largely because I've been around quite a few different types of Spanish speakers. Diaspora in the United States, there's lots of diaspora, especially Florida, and then of course Puerto Rico and Cuba and Puerto Rico. Mexicanos are actually less than I've more associated with Cuba and Puerto Rico more often than Mexico. There's a couple like diaspora that no longer speak Spanish that you can get, like people from El Salvador, right? El Salvador, Honduras, and Guatemalan. I don't think I've met any others. I'm not sure. I think my one instructor was Nicaraguan. Pretty sure. Never met a, what do you call a Panama person? So occasional. Over my lifetime, I've met an example, a person from each of the regions. Although we mainly spoke English, and their accent in English was slightly different. Being around people long enough, you kind of pick up that their English accent is slightly different too.
Junior, tú quieres este videojuego, pero no necesitas este videojuego.
The one thing for sure that I will continue to have problem, in my opinion, is maybe it's just how I think about it, but Japanese speak a certain speed, right? Because of Mora. So you kind of get into the feeling of the pace of someone's talking. So if you listen to someone, like you have a favorite podcaster, right? You're like, oh, I want to listen to it. It takes like, even if you have low comprehensibility, over time you get used to their pace, because in the language itself has an internal pace. In Spanish, I don't think it feels that way. I feel like sometimes they're just like, I blink and like 3 sentences go by, and then suddenly, like when they're emphasizing, it's like, oh, okay, that's more my speed, and then suddenly it's like blitzing. So there are words that feel like they just whoosh on by, and then there are words that feel like they linger forever, right? So it's kind of like listening to English. Occasionally someone would say a word very fast and then say it very slow, and fast all in a sentence while not changing their emotions. In Japanese, it's like, you know, we have mora, so all the syllables have a specific cadence to them. So it takes less time, in my opinion, to get used to trying to learn by listening. If you stick to a Japanese person, like if you stick to a singular Japanese person and you focus on their cadence, because their cadence is easy to pick up over time, as opposed to Spanish, where it's kind of like listening to English, where why is necessary not necessary? Why is, you know, video instead of video game, right? Video game, it's video game, right? So in Spanish, I feel it's the same way, where like they're occasionally faster and slower chunks here and there, and then that makes it a little bit more uneven between people, which in Duolingo it's kind of wonky because these are synthetic voices, so occasionally they would say something very fast and something very slow. You'll hear it in Oscar's voice. So I think Eddie is mid, like super middle of the road, not like mid as in middle, like middle of the road. The cadence is your stock AI male voice, Eddie, and possibly Vikram. On the female side is Lucy and Lynn, and then you have all the other characters. Oscar, the male Oscar voice is like what face, but it's really fun. It's like very entertaining. And then Zadi's voice is like a little bit weird. I think Falstaff might have a pretty normal. You'll see what I mean when we hit Oscar. I don't know where they're sampling, but they're trying to give personalities to all these synthetic voices. So it comes out very abruptly in Spanish, far more than Japanese, largely because Japanese has a much more restricted thing, right? You typically can affect the pitch. So Zadi's baseline is really high, Oscar's baseline is much lower, Falstaff is much lower, but everything is very normalized. In this one, it's like night and day, largely because Spanish is not mora dependent. So is English. So I'm guessing like if we move to the English, when people are learning English, all of the characters will probably have different cadences. And maybe even slightly different stress. Because in English, I can kind of see a couple places where the stresses of common words are different. In Spanish, there are stress rules, which are kind of nice. So you kind of also know when to put accent marks as well. That's kind of one of the last things that I learned in Spanish, where you found the universal, quote unquote, the universal as in 95% of the time, if you can hear it, you can spell it, and you can also put where the accent mark is. Because you know all your accent rules for 95% of the words, and then you know how to write them in Roman characters. So what makes this slightly even easier for me is even if I don't know the words, I can more or less spell it enough that it would represent the word that it is saying. So from a writing perspective, like writing and texting, I don't even process that anymore. Like, oh, how's that word spelled? And I'm like, well, it's spelled how it sounds. That's how I go about Spanish most of my life now, since high school, actually, since those 3 years. So that's also one thing that makes this super fast. So I'm basically I'm taking in 3 times the volume, even if it's review, 3 times the volume that I'm doing on Japanese, because I no longer have to concern myself with how something sounds to the way it's spelled and how it's written. Because Spanish is, in my opinion, one of the greatest comforts in Spanish is it doesn't take very long to feel comfortable in at least saying, oh, I don't know what that word means. You can just look it up on your phone. Like, the just look it up. The nice thing is, once you hear enough, know the rules, parse them together, when someone says something, you can just go on, like on a podcast, you just Google that. You're not concerned with, so is that this character? Or maybe, oh no, wait, I need context for that character. Like, you're wrapping your mind around Japanese where like, do I have enough context so I can figure out what that character is and then write that character and then figure out what it means in this context. In Spanish, when you hear the word, you hear the word. You type the word out. That's it. It's like, it's kind of refreshing in a way. It's kind of like how English works, only English kind of sucks when it comes to figuring out how words are spelled. So in Spanish, I really love Spanish for that reason. Obviously, it's 95% of the time, but it's amazing for the learning process, where once you get down the rules or like the generalities, you can type whatever word. Once you hear it, you can type it and write it. And you don't have to learn anything because it's Roman characters, which as an English speaker, you can write all these characters. Such a weight, ¿Tú quieres, what? ¿Tú quieres este videojuego?
Está bien, yo lo quiero. ¿Lo compramos?
No, tienes muchos videojuegos en casa.
I was gonna say something else, but...
Sí, está bien. ¿Vamos a casa?
No, vamos a casa de Vikram.
¿Por qué? Su casa...
Pero su televisión es grande y yo necesito ver el partido de fútbol.
Papá, tú quieres ver el partido, pero no necesitas ver el partido.
Fly around on robots, obviously. Compramos. Compramos videojuego. Pero. Muy. Alright. Alright, so now we get our typing exercises in. And matching.
Cansada.
Cansada.
Libro.
Libro.
En.
Nombre.
Él no está cansado.
Él no está cansado.
Lo siento, no estoy bien.
Estoy.
Estoy.
Marco está cansado.
Marco está cansado.
Julia, ¿cómo estás?
Ella está cansada.
Cansada. Yeah. Just kidding.
Juan no está cansado.
Juan no está cansado.
Carmen, ¿estás bien?
Bien? Oh, it sounded like bien for a moment.
José, tú estás cansado.
Estás. Oh, tú estás.
Estás.
Gotta listen to the word to the end. ¿Qué? Oh, wait. ¿Qué? ¿Qué tal?
¿Qué tal?
They didn't give me this earlier, but ¿qué tal? ¿Qué tal? How are you? ¿Qué tal? To me, it's almost close to a more of a what's up, but ¿qué tal? ¿Qué pasa? What's up? ¿Qué pasa? Right. ¿Qué tal is in between ¿cómo estás? And in my opinion, ¿qué tal is between a ¿cómo estás and a ¿qué pasa? What was a joke back in the day? Back in high school, I remember people have like hasta luego, right? To see you later. But they think about pasa, right? ¿Qué pasa? So there was this joke which was done to like be rebellious towards the teacher, and when people leave they say hasta pasta. Still remember that. Hasta pasta. That was a mnemonic to remembering hasta luego versus que pasa. Hasta pasta. Oh, it doesn't have to make sense, right? Yo estudio mucho en la universidad. Estoy muy cansada. Yo estoy. ¿Cómo está?
Está.
Okay. Hola. Por favor. Adiós. Ya, hola. Estoy bien. What was the more common thing? Estoy bien. So, estoy bien, in the early days, the most frequent mnemonic that's used is it's no. No estoy bueno. Sí estoy bien. Right? Because estoy bueno is weird. Estoy bien is fine. And that's a double, like that's an English translation joke. Estoy bien is it's fine. It really literally is it's fine. 大丈夫です. Right. Estoy bien. 大丈夫です. Oh, I've got to turn on my keyboard thing. Can't add accents. Okay. Sí, yo estoy bien. Marco es cansado. Ah! I screwed up. I don't want to talk about it. It was a feeling, not a permanence. That'll happen from time to time. Ella está cansada. I forgot that tired is written as tired, but one was tired versus one is tired. There is a difference, but it's not as felt in English now that I think about it. Makes me think. Alright.
Mucho gusto, señora.
Mucho gusto, señora.
Hasta mañana, señora Rivera.
Rivera. Man. Hasta mañana, señor Rivera. ¿Eh? Oh, señora. Oops, I said señor.
¿Cómo está usted, señor?
¿Cómo está usted, señor?
Señor Albert, hasta luego.
Hasta pasta.
Leo, luego.
Luego.
Buenas tardes, señor.
Oops. Oh yeah, this also means good evening to some extent. Good evening and good afternoon. This is oh, you know what? This is a great example of who said it earlier? Someone when I was learning Japanese, right? Someone was subscribing to me, but good night, I mean like good evening is not PM. Because PM, it could be afternoon, and afternoon is not the evening, and night is not the evening, but night includes the evening includes the night, and this is what I mean by American English and also Spanish, where like the phrase for afternoon includes the evening. Sometimes the evening includes the night, and when you say good night, you're actually going to bed. Good evening is good night as a greeting. So, like For this, buenas tardes, tardes, I always say buenas tardes, which means good afternoon and good evening, which includes the night. But when you say buenas noches, you're leaving. You're gonna end the night. So in Japanese, they had a slightly different variant of all of these, right? And then someone was talking about, but isn't the evening like? And I'm like, I'm translating this, and I'm like, I don't know. It's not sure. Like, when they mean tonight, is it night or is it the evening? Are you going out for the evening or the night? I remember this conversation multiple times. What about Chinese? Now that I think about it. 午上晚上 No, I think there's a distinction in Chinese.
Señora Sánchez, ¿cómo está usted?
¿Cómo está usted? So many things to think about now.
Hasta luego, señor Pérez.
Hasta luego. See you later, Señor Pérez.
Hola.
Hola.
Señorita Pérez.
Mucho gusto, soy Ana. Estoy bien, gracias. ¿Y usted, señor Rivera?
Ana está bien. Gotta make sure conjugation.
Sí.
Hasta luego.
Hasta.
Hasta mañana.
Mañana.
Oh, I'll see you tomorrow. My bad.
Hasta luego, señorita Rivera.
Fun. Señor. Oops. Señor. Señor Albert. I don't actually know how they say, because Albert becomes Alberto, but Albert just ending with a Buenos días. ¿Está bien?
Está.
Okay.
Buenas tardes, señorita. Buenas.
Yeah, see, like, so her Lily's speech pattern is very elongated. So actually, Oscar and Lily are probably one of the easier ones to listen to because they're very extended. Estoy cansada. Hasta mañana. Hasta mañana. Adios. Okay. What does Vikram sound like? Vikram. Señorita. What? Señorita. Oh, I keep hitting the wrong one. Señor.
Hasta mañana, señora Rivera.
Yeah. Oscar is very elongated. It's kind of sultry. It's very senior.
Feliz.
Clase.
España.
Leer.
¿Te llamas Carmen?
Oh, you know, Eddie is pretty... honestly, most of the synthetic voices are very quote-unquote robotic. Almost Japanese-like, almost. They're all so consistently paced. Te llamas Carmen, but not for a functional reason. They don't have to be excellently paced. They just happen to be.
Mexicano.
Mi.
Medicina.
Mal.
¿Te llamas Marco?
¿Te llamas Marco?
Sí, estoy muy ocupado.
Muy.
Mucho. Muy.
I see what you did there.
No estoy muy feliz.
I don't even want to get into the whole I still remember the whole muy and mucho. Like what commonly takes mucho versus what commonly takes muy in the adjective position. And then what commonly takes muy, mucho, más in the adverb position and whatnot. I'm like, you just fill it out. It's like one of those English to me it ends up being one of the English things in the long run. It's like you just when you know, you know. Like when you say no estoy mucho feliz, you're like, I think it's more a muy situation now.
Perdón, señor, ¿cómo se llama? Llama.
Lo siento, estoy muy ocupado. I wonder what the difference is between preocupado. Is there a preocupado? Yeah. Yeah, preocupado. Oh, I see. Alright, that's fine.
La niña está mal.
La niña está mal.
Lo siento, estoy muy ocupada. Muy, mucho.
Yeah, see, so they don't take mucho here, like mucho ocupada. And there's a reason, or there's a rule, I suppose. You just gotta know. El hombre está mal.
No, él no está ocupado.
Ocupado. Mi nombre, yeah, mi nombre, ¿y tú? Okay.
Disculpe, señor, ¿está usted ocupado?
Disculpe, señor. ¿Está usted ocupado? Okay. Disculpe, señor. Señor. How do they work this? I guess period? How do you work this? I wasn't paying attention. Wait, I'm kind of curious. Aww. I was just kind of curious. If you could do what? Well, you can. Okay, it's fine. I was just curious. Yeah, this is where you're like, is it mucho? It's not. Alright. Move. Oh, lady. Lady? Which one's lady? I guess we're gonna go with niña. Oh, that's what they want for lady. Señora, oh my goodness. Oh no. Oh no. And they don't want señorita either? Oh no. Maybe they take señorita. We'll try it. Right? Ah! Wait. Wait, I don't think. Oh, there's an accent mark. I'm not gonna go back and change it. I need the accent mark. Oh, and they want perdón. Oh, come on. That's still fine too. Yeah, this is what I mean by Spanish's flexibility. Oh, wait. I want to know. Señorita. Okay, that's still acceptable. It's fine. They just wanted to use that. And you still can use disculpe here. Oh my gosh. I'm almost certain. Almost certain. You what, mate? Oh, whoops. I conjugated incorrectly. My bad. Hold up. Oh, right. This is a direct object. So this is a conjugation thing again. Yeah, it's yama because seyama. It has a direct object. We're still going with this. We got a test. Okay. Yeah. And that's to illustrate the Spanish side of things. It's more like you know what you're trying to say, but are you saying it grammatically correctly? What was it?
Hasta mañana, señora Rivera.
Okay. Article cansado. Está cansado. Perdón. Whoops. Señor. ¿Cómo se llama? Señora. Ocupada.
¿No estás bien?
Ugh.
No, estoy.
Lo siento.
Estoy.
Estoy no bien. No bien.
No, bien.
No estoy bien.
No estoy muy feliz.
No estoy muy feliz. Gotta make sure not to do that.
No. No está bien.
No question marks. Throws me off. Whoa. My hand shifted.
No.
No,
Él
no
está ocupado.
Estás ocupada.
Hola.
¿Qué tal?
Tal.
I mean, that's fine. What else were you? Oh, ¿qué tal estás? Oh, interesting. ¿Qué tal estás? That's a little redundant. Alright. All right. Kind of
Buenas
iffy, right?
tardes, señor.
It's kind of getting a little iffy here.
Buenas tardes, señora.
Lo siento, estoy muy ocupada.
José está ocupado.
Ocupado.
Hasta luego, señor Pérez.
¿Tú estás? Ella está. Buenos días. ¿Cómo te llamas?
Lo siento, estoy mal.
Lo siento. Estoy mal.
No, no estoy bien. Estoy mal y cansada. ¿Tú cómo estás?
La mujer no está bien. ¿Cómo está usted, señor? ¿Señor?
La señora Pérez no está feliz. La señora Pérez no está feliz.
Eres. Señorita. La mañana. Señora Rivera.
¿Cómo? Se llama.
¿Usted?
Usted.
Okay. All right. Next story. A date. Oh, we can do the listen or the read now.
Una cita.
Oh, wait. I think this is a replay, right?
Bea está en una cita en un restaurante.
Yeah, this is a replay now. Now we do the listening.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Because this is the one where they meet on a different date.
Bien. ¿Qué quieres comer?
Una ensalada. Hoy tengo un partido importante.
Yeah. She has a football game.
Ah, ¿te gustan los deportes?
Sí, yo juego al fútbol.
Yo también.
¡Súper! ¿De dónde eres?
Soy americano. Mi padre es de Cuba y mi madre es de México.
Me encanta Cuba.
Cuba es muy bonita.
¿Tienes mascotas?
Tengo 2 gatos y un perro.
Yo también tengo un perro, José.
Yo me llamo Daniel. ¿Tú no eres Gabriela?
No, yo me llamo Bea.
Una mujer camina hacia Daniel.
Hola, ¿eres Daniel? Soy Gabriela.
No, lo siento. Soy José.
He basically pretended. Gatos. Mascotas. Restaurante. Bonita. Padre. Okay. And then now we do the listening.
Una
over again.
cita. Bea está en una cita en un restaurante.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Bien. ¿Qué quieres comer?
Una ensalada. Hoy tengo un partido importante.
Ah, ¿te gustan los deportes?
Sí, yo juego al fútbol.
Yo también.
¡Súper! ¿De dónde eres?
Soy americano. Mi padre es de Cuba y mi madre es de México.
Me encanta Cuba.
Cuba es muy bonita.
¿Tienes mascotas?
Tengo 2 gatos y un perro.
Yo también tengo un perro, José.
Yo me llamo Daniel. ¿Tú no eres Gabriela?
No, yo me llamo Bea.
Una mujer camina hacia Daniel.
Hola, ¿eres Daniel? Soy Gabriela.
No, lo siento. Soy
Sí.
José.
Soy José. Eres restaurante, también ensalada, padre. Alright. Our personalized practice. Oh, we're up to 3 personalized practice now. El pan. Tú comes una hamburguesa. And then un sándwich. El banco. La calle. Un vaso. Una taza.
Una ensalada de tomate.
Una ensalada de tomate.
Yo necesito la cuenta.
Yo necesito la cuenta. Okay. La carne.
En la maleta.
En la maleta.
Maleta.
Él es un niño. Okay. Una hamburguesa de pescado.
Pescado.
Pescado. Pescado. Mujer. Ah! Una. Whoops. I didn't type the A.
Yo quiero pagar la cuenta.
Una ensalada, right? Una reserva. Okay.
Una taza de café, por favor.
Una taza. Un vaso.
Una taza.
Okay.
Un sándwich de queso.
Queso. Con queso. Un sándwich de queso.
Un jugo de naranja.
Un jugo de naranja. Carne y pescado. Yo como. Con o sin leche. Oops.
Un sándwich de pescado.
Un sándwich de pescado. Un vaso. Una taza.
Carne o pescado.
Carne o pescado. Ella come una manzana. Yo vivo un jugo de naranja.
¿Un jugo de naranja?
¿Un jugo de naranja? Uf. Un jugo de naranja? Uf. I tripped over a little there. Alright. Keep going.
Una mesa para 2 personas.
Una mesa para 2 personas. Personas.
La carne.
La carne. Okay. Una mesa para tres personas, por favor.
Con queso.
Con queso. ¿Con queso? Una mesa. Dos personas.
Un sándwich de pescado.
Pescado. Whoops. Oh. Pescado.
Una taza de café, por favor.
Café. Por favor. Un sándwich de queso.
Con carne.
Con carne. Carne. Un jugo. Jugo de naranja. Una manzana. Un jugo.
Un jugo de naranja.
Un jugo de naranja. And of course we're gonna legend it. Let's go! Peepo? Peep peep? Carne. Oops. Carne o pescado.
Uno o dos.
Uno o dos. Con y sin leche. Oh, oops.
Una hamburguesa de pescado.
Wait, what? Una hamburguesa. Hamburguesa de pescado.
Una hamburguesa de pescado.
Oh, I missed the hamburguesa. Un sándwich. Sándwich de pescado. Un café con azúcar. Un restaurante. Un jugo de naranja, por favor. Pagar. Sal. Queso. Yo. Mi. Okay. Una taza. Quiero una ensalada. Una ensalada tomate. Oh, I forgot about de. My bad. Una hamburguesa con queso. Oh, with cheese, yeah. Una mesa para tres personas. Quiero pagar. Un vaso. Necesito la cuenta. Una mesa para dos personas.
Para ella, una ensalada sin tomate, sin sal, sin queso. Gracias.
She's eating a salad with nothing in it. Just not everything. Hold everything except the lettuce. Okay. Oh, we don't have. Oh, yeah. This is just a review, right? This is very short. Today is very short.
Hasta mañana, señor Pérez.
Hasta mañana, señor Pérez. Buenos días, señorita. Señorita. ¡Ah!
Gracias, señora Pérez.
Gracias, señora Pérez. ¿Cómo está? ¿Está usted? Partially because it's Mrs. Sanchez.
No, no estoy bien.
Okay. ¿Cómo está usted?
Julia, ¿cómo estás?
I heard ¿cómo estás? But oh, whoops! I missed the accent mark. ¿Está bien? ¿Verdad?
Hasta luego, señor Pérez.
Still getting used to hitting two slight different buttons. Estoy muy cansada. Hasta luego, señor Pérez. Usted es la señora Flores. Flores. El señor Flores está aquí en el restaurante. Yeah, that works. ¿Y tú estás bien? Soy cansada. Hasta mañana. Adiós. Okay. Associating with greetings and farewell, etc.
No, no estoy mal.
No, no estoy mal. Oscar, you and your long sentences, long elongated vowels, long elongated syllables. Mi nombre es Laura.
Nombre.
Él se llama David.
Carmen está muy ocupada.
Carmen está muy ocupada. El hombre está mal. José está ocupado.
El hombre está mal.
El hombre está mal. Carmen está muy ocupada.
Estoy muy feliz.
Estoy muy feliz. ¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas? Ella está muy feliz.
Ella
está muy feliz.
It's so cut off. Ni nombre. Yeah, that's fine. Tú te llamas Carlos. Usted se llama Daniel.
Usted.
Usted and te. These
Te.
are the te and se. And then llamas and llama. Right. Parts of speech. Sí. Gloria. Soy feliz. Un escrito un gato. Oh. Estoy. Yeah, oops, not soy. Estoy.
Mi gato se llama señor Pérez. Él está muy feliz y ocupado.
He's a cat. Disculpe, señor. ¿Usted es el profesor de inglés? ¿Está muy ocupado? Okay. Of course we're gonna legend it. Of course.
Juan
Claro.
no está cansado.
You know, Claro. Claro Casey. You know, Claro. Claro Casey. Oh. I totally...
Juan no está cansado.
Juan no está cansado. Sí, Julia es...
Sí, hasta mañana.
Sí, hasta mañana. Hasta... hasta Oh my gosh. Hasta mañana. Señorita... señora... Rivera.
Perdón, señor, ¿cómo se llama?
Perdón. Señor. ¿Cómo se llama? Usted. ¿Estás bien? ¿Estás feliz? ¿O tú estás feliz?
¿Te llamas Carmen?
Wait. Is that a question? Yes. ¿Te llamas? Oh, ¿te llamas? What was the name?
¿Te llamas Carmen?
¿Te llamas Carmen? ¿Qué? Okay. Lo siento. Estoy muy ocupado. O ocupada. Sorry.
No, él no está ocupado.
No estoy ocupado. Oh, él no. Oh, okay. Couldn't hear that. It went by so quickly that I wasn't paying attention. Buenas tardes. What was for ma'am? Which one do they want? Señora?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Ah! For a moment there, I thought that said, ¿Cuántos años? How old are you? Oh, we have choices here, though. ¿Cómo está usted? Señor Albert. No, la señorita no está ocupada. Young lady. Okay. Hasta luego, señorita Rivera. ¿Estás cansada, Julia?
No, él no está ocupado.
All right. Yes. And then our trophy for the day. It's a short one, right? How long did we spend? An hour. Let's go with some extra digression. Señorita. Ah. Carmen está ocupada.
No, no estoy mal.
I'm not unwell. Oh, that double negative.
Te llamas.
Te llamas Marco.
Marco.
No, él no está ocupado. No, él.
Él no está ocupado.
José, tú estás cansado.
José. ¿Tú estás cansado? Oh, okay. I'm good.
Sí, el niño está muy feliz.
What?
Sí, el niño está muy feliz.
Okay. El niño está muy feliz. Okay. Julia. Let's go with informal. ¿Cómo estás?
Señora, ¿cómo se llama usted?
Oops, was your man?
No, la señorita no está ocupada.
No, la señora no está ocupada.
Okay. ¿Cómo está usted, señor?
¿Cómo está usted? I guess we can plug it in here. Señor. Patricia no muy cansada. Ah! Oh! No está muy oh no, I'm just kidding. I didn't even read. Oh no read. Adiós. Hasta mañana. Buenas tardes, señora. Patricia no está. Alright. We did it! That's okay. Let's see how comprehensive this is. Okay, we have mal, feliz, and ocupada, right? Or ocupado, whichever one. And then we have te llamas, se llama, se llama, and usted uses the third, right? Se llama. Ocupado. Oh yeah. Oh, okay, so they include both the genders in the entry, even though they skipped over some last time. That's interesting. ¿Cómo está? How's? Okay, sure. ¿Cómo está? Do they have como estás as a separate entry? No. Interesting. This weird way to categorize things. Señor, señorita. Buenas tardes. Usted. Señora. Hasta mañana. Hasta luego. Cansada and cansado. They just have interesting. They just have double entries now, all of a sudden. Bien. Como. Estoy. Estás. Yeah. I think that's everything. So both the greetings, how you're feeling, and how you ask, but for some reason, como está is separate from como estás. Oftentimes, como está, I guess, how is the other person non-specific, and then como estás, how are you? Do we have anything else? ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué tal is missing here, even though it's just randomly thrown in. ¿Qué tal? Or ¿qué tal usted? That's kind of interesting. Yeah, this covers pretty much all of them. So I would say it's still like 99% coverage of the words. 99% coverage so far. So more or less 208 words, including different parts of speech or like gender agreements. I don't they're continuing this trend. So technically 208 separate words, but and then technically it's less than 208 words because it's including genders and conjugations. So we didn't really learn that much yet. Not really. So that's fine. Okay. And of course, part of our ritual, things are really changing differently. So, sheesh. Okay. So now let's go over our evening things, because I'm doing evening things too. Maybe during the review I'll do like a phone capture or something every once in a while. But for now, we're doing it this way. So for my evening, let's see if these are the same. I need a new video game. So the stories are the same. A date, yes. Okay, so the stories check out this time. So no additional story. But there is definitely... Oh, there are 3 podcasts. But there's no adventure left. Oh, there's no adventure in this one. Interesting. So we only have 3 podcasts. 3 additional podcasts, which is here. Oops. Just kidding. Okay. So there's a podcast here. A podcast here. And a podcast here. Let's see. This is called Another Guest. Interesting. Human Feelings. This is definitely Falstaff. Another Guest sounds like Lily, so this is probably going to be Lily. This is Falstaff. And University Life. Ooh, this could be anyone. It could be Lynn, or it could be Lucy. Lynn or Lucy. And that's it. That's it for our language learning session. For Duolingo, Spanish. I think it's pretty much safe to say, other than some spotty like gender, I need to get into the, gotta keep clicking. It's like, oh yeah, gender and articles, because 2/3 of the time I'm dropping articles, right? I'm dropping articles and gender because Chinese and Japanese do not have gender nor articles most of the time. So neither of those. So that's kind of, this has been a very interesting dynamic going from like, oh yeah, and even, you know, we're going downhill because in Japanese I'm still thinking of like conjugations and stuff while I'm going through Wanikani, like, oh yeah, okay, so that's the conjugation rules. I don't say them out loud, but usually I still go over my conjugation rules when we hit an occasional predicate, right? And in Chinese, what conjugations? So then you go straight from no conjugations, no gender, no conjugation, no gender, no articles, and then suddenly and also we're going from SRS vocabulary to sentence, right? Sentence construction. So now you just go straight from as little as possible to do with repetition of articles, conjugation, and gender agreement to you have to do it every single time. So I'm obviously going to drop some here and there. It won't really change how well, you know, I know the stuff, but it will definitely be a little bit more consistent over time. I miss this. It's very refreshing. So far, we have 3 very, very different experiences, and even my evening experiences are different now. So that's kind of cool. And again, we're going to end soon. I think the schedule works out pretty well. We're going to end soon with Duolingo Japanese because we still got arguably the last like third, which will probably take 3 times the amount of time that we're going through Spanish. Spanish will slow down at some point, and my guess is it will probably slow down either the moment I add Japanese back because I need to half them, or the pace we're going in Spanish makes up so much time for Japanese. So Spanish is not taking up that much. And if we're going at this pace, right? I think a natural slowing down position is going to be like section 5 when we get into whatever they classify as B1, because I mean I can still read most of this stuff, but like Kodiana, right? Codidiana, I don't know what that is, right? But you can probably say Campeste usar español en mi vida. So something about life. So this is the adjective for life, right? Capaz. Cases? No. I have the ability. Okay, so I have the ability to use Spanish in my casual life. It's probably cotidiana is probably casual. So I'm contextualizing what these words are because I know all the other words. So I think in B1 it's still comprehensible, but it will be more like comprehensible input from now on, from when we get to B1, where I had to figure out the context. Just I don't even need the translations most of the time. So like here, like puedo usar expresiones diferentes de acuerdo, or is it acuerdo? Acuerdo el contexto social, right? Social. I'm able to use different expressions to recall the social context, or to use in social context, or that occur in social context, right? I think this is occur. So I'm still using context, so it's still comprehensible in some way, but not like full stop knowing this stuff. What is this one? Me resulta fácil conversar en español sobre diferentes temas, incluso en situaciones imprevistas. So, you know, can understand or resolve, participate, I guess, in it is easy to converse in Spanish about different themes or topics that includes improvised situations, right? Like, or I'm guessing this is improvised, but different situations. Maybe this is different, like a different way, but kind of reminds me of improvised situations or unexpected situations. Unexpected situations. That kind of thing. Anyways. Yep. Wait, can I click back on here? All right. And it looks like you get back the adventure. Okay, wait. It looks like you get back the podcast. The adventure skipped the first unit for whatever reason. But yes. What is our next topic? I kind of want to scroll and think about it. Express travel needs. Ooh, travel is going back to travel. I'm still looking schedules. What about hobbies? There's talk about your life. Talk about other people's lives. And then that's what you got. And then we're going back to school. And then gender agreements. So they still have they have grammar related things, but they introduce the things before they talk about the things. And I kind of like that. I think that's a big break and a breather from explicit type of teaching, right? So they do use gender, and they did it in a table form. So I'm guessing they're using table. I wonder, describe your family, office work, emotions, say where people are from. So they're revisiting again, they're building up, ask for directions, right? And then form the present tense. Interesting. Opinions, routines, yeah. So they're going back around again, cycle around a couple times. Use ser and estar. So there are formal, like, dedicated spots, just like use the present tense, conjugating the present tense, but not that frequent, because I agree with a lot of people, at least in my opinion, grammar forms the foundation of curiosity. So oftentimes grammar and like sentence structure and whatnot, one being motivated and self-motivated and voluntarily and or school obligated, motivated, self-obligated, or externally obligated to look at structures and rules are very, very welcome when you obligate yourself to do so. But I don't think it's mandatory to first accrue grammar and structure unless you're obligating yourself to do so. So if you're actively saying, I want to consciously know these things in order to alleviate and contextualize the stuff, then that's a good to go. I'm sure there are a lot of grammar sources out there. I haven't encountered a grammar thing yet, largely because contextually Duolingo keeps it simple and hope that the introduction of these words and these vocabulary and these simple sentences will guide you into engaging with other content, right? In other content in which you build upon that. At least that's the design language that it still exudes even in its flagship course. All right, that's a wrap for Spanish today. You're gonna watch this later. Muchas gracias, right? So until next time, hasta luego, hasta mañana, perhaps, and take care, stay safe, and catch you guys on the next one. Bye bye, adios.